Okay, yay. G'day. Welcome to the Forbidden History series. Another one, yeah. Wow. Um, you're here with NinjaCat and Dezert-Owl from Forbidden History Archive and also from the Forbidden History series. And you're listening to the Emergency Broadcast System. So we're just going to do a quick sound check. I just want to have a quick look at the chat and say g'day to. I'd rather see than fire, does it? Um, yeah, I just want to say g'day to Lynn and Yo. G'day. How's it going? I have zero watching right now. Um, no, I'm gonna have to because apparently it resets every time. Um, okay, yep. Just hang in there, guys. It's doing the same thing as it always does. So just waiting for it to open the window, the settings window. Please stand by. I have to laugh. It's still frozen. It shouldn't take too long. Thank you, Lynn. It's good to know that one of us is working because I can't even see like the whole thing's frozen up while it decides whether it's going to open this settings window or not. Okay, this is taking longer than it normally does. Okay, here we go. Sorry, guys. It's always a great start to the program. Righty. Okay, can we please get a sound check on Desert's audio? Desert, g'day. How's it going? You there? Desert?
Oh, you talking to me?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much. I got distracted here. This audio problems every time. That's why we're doing the putting the flood on the water so we can just make sure we get the check. We've always got stuff happening,
Yes,
and
yes, we
I'm
do.
a 10. And okay, are we balanced? Can you sing or sing a
I'm not.
tune, and
I'm not
I'll
singing.
I'll
It's
do harmony with
3
you?
a.m. Does it? Okay, we can
3
do a
a.m.
harmony. You do the.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
I'll be the
yeah,
backup
yeah,
singer.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah. All
not
right.
singing.
Good.
Okay. Okay. We're
So
good.
I guess we're good. All right.
We're good. Okay. Uh, try and remember
So that
how we
means
do this now.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you for the audio check, Lynn, Shelley.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome, and we will be right back. Um, okay. You're listening to the Emergency Broadcast System, and we'll be right back.
On NinjaCat,
Yes.
Down Under, but not over.
Does it? There's supposed to be like silent reading time at the
All
moment.
right. All right.
Okay, welcome again. Um, can't wait. I can't wait. There's going to be some brilliant reads during the program in original thought from Desert. For any new listeners, you're listening to the Forbidden History series here with NinjaCat and Desert-Owl. Um, and yeah, I can't wait. Okay, so let's get on with it. The signs of the times. In essence, Desert discusses the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of time, who they are and how they have founded all of the first great civilizations that have found all around the world, about who the giants really were, and the ancient Aryan caste and slave systems, the priesthoods, the anti-gravity V-manners, the Earth-based misnomered UFOs which are man-made, the control of all forms of communications, commerce, religion, mass media, pseudo-politics, etc. It is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind, and all instituted through the three main religions of the world in particular, used as their grand cover. Their cyber code has been revealed to him because he has become adept within the study of the ancient alphabet, excuse me, of the ancient alphabets, communications, symbolism, religion, custom, law, cosmology, and mythology, not to mention the fallacy of today's political science and pseudoscience in particular. He can also define the true nature of their warfare, their shell game of bringing one civilization up for their temporary use and then taking it down for the next 500-year generational cycle, as symbolized by the classical phoenix. Desert discusses the ultimate in mind control and ancient art and the financial control, the secret societies and their blood occult rituals, and how they wage all wars throughout all time, through the nations that they have created, which are all imaginations, plantations, and mere corporations. They have taken blood oaths to surrender their self-will and mind to their blind goddess, who has demanded our blood from the very beginning of time. They communicate to their minions through the movies, TV, and print media, while he can see, read, and interpret most all of it. It all says that they are using us for our ingenuity, for our collective constructive labour, for experimentation, and in the end they intend to kill us all. They have given us full notice of what they are doing and what they fully intend to do. While all of the general population, the sheeple, they merely go there to be entertained. The New World Order is the Old World Order from the beginning of time. There is a major cosmic natural disaster that is about to happen on Earth, and they know it, but they are cleverly leaving us in the dark, hence the reason that they have built hundreds of underground bases all around the world, while they are leaving all of the people to remain unprepared, uninformed, and above ground, so that when it comes, the mere 5% who will survive above ground will die from the weaknesses and disease that has been generated from all of the poisons that they have been feeding us, from the chemtrails to fluoride in the water, to tainted vaccines, to fake food, etc., etc. They have enslaved us all by the clever means of deception, because we, most all, are their cattle, chattel, property, and because they merely wanted to harness our labour, what they always needed, which is what backs most of the world's currency through the birth certificate, but they are all through with us now. It is written in stone, as it can be seen written in the Georgia Guidestones. To know the truth is to be empowered and to be prepared. We may not be able to stop what has been done and what is about to happen, but the innocent and decent people on planet Earth deserve to know. And I'd like to welcome Desert-Owl to the program again, and also comment on that. Lately, like the last few programs, every time I've read that introduction, Desert, I know you wrote it years ago, but when I get to the last three paragraphs, yeah, it really hits home, and it just amazes me how something written like what? When did you write this? About 10 years ago, 15 years ago?
In that range, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, in that
yeah,
range.
and
Yeah.
it just explains, like, I feel it as I'm reading it. Yeah, wow. Anyway, welcome. How's it
Well, I
going?
think I was spot on, as they say, right? With
Yes, you
the
were.
virtually all that, right?
Yep.
Or as Will Smith said in his movie, "This is planet. Do you know where we are? This is planet Earth, and everything has been designed to kill you."
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and we know that is happening right in your backyard right now, right?
Yep. Yep. To the point that I had to put the program off for an hour so that I could go outside and try and get a good spot on top of the hill to see if I could see the fires on the mountains in the distance.
Were you
Yeah,
able to see the fire?
no, it was
No,
too.
good.
The smoke was so thick, and we've got orange street lights all over the place, and it just made it really hard. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so I think. You know how I was saying there's no wind? It was just, it's hot. It's the middle of the night, it's hot, and there's no wind.
Uh-huh.
By the time I got to the top of the hill, there was a bit of a
Yeah,
breeze blowing, and now the wind's here. So, yeah,
yeah.
that explains all the
Uh-huh.
sudden smoke. But just in the
Yeah,
house, it's in the all through the house now.
right.
Yeah, yeah,
And just to digress for a moment, just to show you how DirtTube has sabotaged our programming. We know for a fact we have a minimum of 4 listeners right now, and we have 2 on my readout. They've done everything to destroy our numbers,
yep,
so that then people will then think that what we have to talk about is irrelevant. But of course, if anybody would listen to any of the program, they would know that's the furthest thing from the truth. As the old axiom goes, no good deed goes unpunished, and for someone having dedicated their entire life towards the truth, and as you know, with 2 civic organizations, pro-American, pro-Australian, pro-Canadian, um, safety for our world, organizations exposing corruption in high places. We are the most underrated broadcast on their tube, because we have no algorithm. We're shadow banned, and they play with all the numbers. The one fundamental thing a computer was ever supposed to be able to do was to count.
yep, is
you know
count.
and
Yep,
and that's so it's been designed not to count properly, to play games with our numbers, and that's not just with us, it's with many of the people that we know out there that tell truth. So that's their game, because the people that control, as we know, all media, are part of an underworld that have it in for you and I, and we're witnessing the burn down of Australia, because your solar radiation has been so great, as you've noticed in the trees just in your backyard area, are wilting. The major trees are wilting because they can no longer take the UVC radiation, and that's why they're primed to be burned down, and that's why they need to be burned down, because they don't want people to know that the UVC and B is off the charts. And so, since Australia is already in the cooker, there's nothing else they can do but to take it down now. And you're the first pilot program for the total annihilation of all life on Earth, other than those who will be going underground, because there will be no life above ground, because nothing can grow in solar radiation that is now coming our way. And so they miscalculated. They thought they were just going to have 500 million slaves working the plantations, but there won't be any slaves working plantations for them. Then they can eat each other's flesh underground at the end. It sounds like a real party to me.
yeah, great. Yeah, yeah, the trees. I agree with you, and um, also the obvious lack of water, um, and when you say wilting, it's serious wilting with big branches on big trees, like big wooden branches,
Yeah.
are just I can't. It's so hard to describe if you're not here seeing it.
Hmm.
They're
Hmm.
just like, some of them are touching the ground. They just have no strength. They can't hold all the leaves, the weight of the leaves on the end of the branches, and these are big branches. Um,
Hmm.
Also, uh, I'm glad you mentioned the strength of the UV, because yeah, I'm feeling it. But I keep my, like, we are on water restrictions, which everything is so contradictory here. They
Hmm.
take our water and then they restrict the water that we have. But anyway, we're on water restrictions, so we're
Well,
limited.
did you hear about the camels? Did you hear about the camels that
Yeah, yeah, I
they
saw that.
annihilated? Yeah, they said the camels were drinking too much water, so they had to commit genocide on the camel population. I didn't even know they had camels in Australia. Actually, we used to have them here in America a few thousand years ago, but they were annihilated by the natives because they ate, they were eating meat. But that's why they had to become agrarian, because they killed all the animals they could hunt, and I guess camels were a pretty easy target. So they annihilated all the camels here in North America, and now Australia. Were they imports or were they native to Australia, Ninja?
I don't know. I've always seen them as not native to Australia, but I've always known that there's been camels in the outback. And when I
Oh,
used to live on the coast in Port Macquarie, it's a tourist town, and one of the tourist things was camel rides along the beach.
I see.
Yeah,
Well, that'd be
so
fun.
yeah,
Yeah, I never did that.
yeah, yeah. I never did
Okay,
either.
all right.
I saw them, but I never got to ride on them. Um, yeah. Getting back to the trees. Yeah. So what was I getting at? I still water the backyard. The front yard is not looking very healthy. Um, because that gets the afternoon sun, and it's fried on the sunny side of all the plants and trees out the front. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, the
So
backyard
yeah,
I still water, and the trees in the backyard are even wilting and burned on top, even though, and the leaves haven't grown back from winter like completely. Um, they're not very happy. Plants in
yeah.
the backyard. The grass is green ish. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, yeah. Even though they're getting water, they're not getting nutrients from the soil because the soil is ruined from the spraying.
Yeah.
And
Well,
yeah,
Max
yeah,
Egan put out a good report showing how there's been layers over 20 years of dried leaves and what do you want to call it? Pyrotechnic of chemicals placed on the layers of the leaves over 20 years, and that's why
yeah,
a lot of the ground foliage just doesn't stop burning.
yeah,
When you look after the fire has passed through, all the ground is still lit up. Wonder why, right?
yeah, yeah.
It's
That's what the
pyrotechnic.
fires look like. I saw some footage tonight, exactly what you described. That's what the fires look like in Melbourne right now. They showed some really good footage of tonight, like the fire in the dark, and you can see what you're describing. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. There's no critical thinking anymore. People cannot process. And if anybody does figure something out, then there's the inability to get that information out because the media is controlled, and of course media isn't asking any questions. You notice they don't ask questions; they just report the visual content of what they're saying. Oh, there's a fire. Oh, look there, look at it, it's a big fire. Well, it's the biggest
yeah,
fire we've ever seen. Whoa. But they never said how could this happen. They
yeah,
never You never hear them moaning from within with emotion, and like when the Hindenburg blimp went down in New Jersey. You heard the reporter who was there on the scene practically screaming and in tears over the fact that this thing was blown up, and people were dying, and you heard the emotions. But like
yeah,
when the
yeah,
twin towers went down, you just heard reporters, oh my, isn't that, look at that now, Bubba, yeah baby, yeah, isn't that really a tragedy, yeah, it's so sad.
yeah,
I no oh.
yeah,
It's like they have no, because they knew they're in on it,
yeah,
that's why, because they're actually primed for this event. So there's no emotions shown anymore because they have no emotions. They're part of a grand scheme of world of a world federation, world domination scheme. Just like Max Egan showed, the Prime Minister of New Zealand was honored by becoming a member, got an award from the World Zionist Federation. What a wonderful clique that must be, right? I think they were the ones who took down the Twin Towers, don't you?
I think so.
Yeah,
And
Israeli Mossad. Yeah, uh-huh.
can I add to that? Um,
Oh, please do. Got nothing to lose here.
um, yeah, going back to the reporters, I can back you up on that, because I remember actually not too long ago, uh, when Queensland was getting flooded and there was big cyclones. I think it was only a few years ago. Um, that was the first onslaught of like really big crop losses, and cattle. Uh, one of a reporter, he was he was like a traveling weather guy, like little bit of entertainment while doing the weather. He'd travel around the country and do the weather report from different places. Um, he was covering the floods, and I remember he was like he'd been reporting on the floods for about half a week. He'd been up there in Queensland reporting on the floods, and he completely lost it. He completely lost it. He crumbled. He just couldn't do it anymore. And one of the other presenters in the studio had to take over from him, and then the weather guy took some time off. So I know exactly what you're saying there.
Mhm.
And there was one more thing, but I've forgotten it already. Um, so please continue, Desert.
Sure. Okay.
Sorry, I got a bit
Right.
rambling. I'm tired.
Uh-huh. So, yeah,
Yeah.
you're 5 in the morning over there, I think, right?
Um,
Something like that.
3:29 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be doing a broadcast on the Forbidden History, and we're just doing an update here for Ninja's report on what's happening in her neck of the woods. And we want people to support her. We are attempting to find a way to bring her here to America, and she is backing and support. If you go to the description below, you'll see where you can get PDFs for any size donation, and we're letting Ninja keep all the funding if you order any of those items from this broadcast. Okay, just make her a PayPal. Your PayPal, I think, is on there as well, Ninja, right? And we're trying to
Yeah,
raise
it's
funds
in the
to relocate
description.
you.
Yeah,
Right. Her world is burning down, and for a year and a
literally,
half,
like all around
Ninja,
me. Yeah,
yeah, Ninja has been serving our broadcast. She wants to continue to serve Yeshua, and be able to promote the message of the original thought and the lost writings and everything else that we do. So your gifts will be here's an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, an opportunity to help a friend in need, and one who's given selflessly, staying up till 5 in the morning, all till sunrise, doing it. She was doing twice a week with us. Actually, long before that, even more broadcasting. We had to cut it back. We were doing 3 times a week, I think, and then
yeah,
so we're doing at least once now. We're keeping the broadcast going until we can finally relocate her, and the time is short. So please consider helping out a friend, and that's where I got my vision. What you see there in the picture now is Mount Whitney, 14,500 feet, where I climbed when I was about 21 years old, to the top of the world, 14,500 feet, the tallest peak in the contiguous United States, right outside of Lone Pine, California. They're in Central California, 100 miles due west of Death Valley. So you got the lowest point in America and the tallest peak in America in the contiguous U.S., other than Mount McKinley in Alaska, of course. But this is the contiguous U.S. It's the tallest peak. I climbed there on a vision quest. It's 11 miles from base camp at 8,000 feet, 11 miles up at the last part to get to that top ridge. It's 97 switchbacks, back and forth to scale the side of a very steep and rugged mountain. And then you walk behind those accordion points up there until you get to the very top Grand Peak you can see. And you can see Yosemite from up there, a couple hundred miles to the north. So it was quite a dramatic experience I had in my life that inspired me to go on that vision quest. But the Father just proves the point that when you go out of your way to communicate with the Spirit of life, He does not ignore you, but He sees what you do. And coming off the mountain is where things changed for me, and I was able to see things into words in particular, but also became a symbologist and a mythologist as well, studying religion as well, all around the world, collecting lost writings, and trying to make sense out of an insane world and a world of lies and deception, and to have to unravel the great mystery of who we are, where we are, why we are, and when we are. And I can't begin to tell you what it feels like to actually know how the universe and the solar system as well each came into being by the great light that comes through the spirit of life, who we call Yahweh, in the first identifying title of the great breath, the great spirit of life, which most people mispronounce as Yahweh, but that even got covered up, and then they were calling him God or Bubba or Bob or somebody like that. But they just didn't want us to know these original titles because they have power and identify the true nature of things. Because when you know that, like they call YHVH, I'm going to type it in here so we can talk, since we're talking about it, the tetra, Gramaton, the tetragrammaton, it is really the Tetragrammaton. Oh, I didn't. It's the at. Let me try it again. Oh, geez. Well,
Oh,
what do
yeah.
you want? It's a live broadcast, and I'm also out of the wing too, Ninja. But here
Yeah,
we go. I
we're
got it. Now
we're a
I
bit
just
out
have
of
to
practice. It's
play
okay.
my computer magic and the tetragrammaton. You see, well, it worked out good. You see, because now you can compare. You see, one is tetragrammaton, and the other one is correctly, as you can see now, the tetragram atom.
Wow.
You see? And so, because Yeshua is the first made, he is literally the first atom. And so the tetra is the three, because within an atom, you've got you've got the, and I was never good at physics really, but, you've got the proton, the neutron, and the electron, right? And they're
Yep.
all going,
Yep.
one's at the center, the others are going around. And that's the tetragram atom. The gram is the grain, you see. And so
Wow.
literally what is being described as and it may be that it's really not YHVH but YHV. That's the tetra, that's the three. But you see they put a fourth one on there, a duplicate of the bridge, right? The YHVH, but the H is the symbol of the bridge. Now look at how the three are in the H, right? The
Yeah.
H is, you have two pillars, and then you have, boom, okay, three parts. And what would you have in the middle? Let me try this again. Um, okay, so in the H, you have two pillars. So there's the classic pillars. You know how we've talked about them, even the Twin Towers represented the pillars. We see
Yep.
them in Freemasonry, and they call them Jachin and Boaz. But literally, they at the top you always see the pictures of the sun and moon. They're
Yep.
telling you who the two pillars. What are pillars? They are supports. And so the left pillar and the right pillar represent sun and moon. And what's the cross member? What is that horizontal line where we have a horizon on our plane? It is the earth. That is the bridge. We're on the bridge. The H is the breath. So the breath, breathe, and then you get sun, earth, and moon. The tri, the tetra, you see, and tetra is land as well. So you see how, even though it's not a quadrant, but it's a tetra, tre, you see, we because this is how the game is played. It's all about the smoke and mirrors and deceptions. Which one is it? Right hand, left hand? Whoa, whoa, I'm totally confused now. Whoa, because they're so good at it.
Yeah.
They got layers of onion that just keep peeling away. And
They've
there's
had
Jet. Good to have you, Jet.
plenty of time to practice. G'day, Jet. How's it going?
Yeah, plenty of time. Yeah. So I have a quote here, and I'm gonna just read that. It's there is no greater death than ignorance, and lack of trust. Ninja. So that's from Yeshua out of the Aquarian Gospel, misnomered. It's actually the original Gospel, chapter 91, 44. But that must be a big book, 91. Actually, it's got 182 chapters in it. It's got 22 sections, the number of perfection, evidence that this is a legitimate original document. And so the quote by Yeshua is, there is no greater, these are the words of Yeshua, the one who made us. There is no greater death or deeper death, as it said in that scripture. There is no deeper death than ignorance and lack of trust. Okay? And so then that's important to know, right, Ninja? Because
Yeah.
we have to trust, right?
Yeah.
Knowing. And
Yep.
you're seeing the hand of Yeshua in your walk because you're trusting. And
Yep.
therefore, the more you trust, the more he reveals, because he's counting on us to that is what, also is in the sense of faith, but it is faith, is a what do I want to say? Eviction, conviction. Conviction means you already know. You already know in the sense of conviction, but we call it. You see, the con is in front of
Yeah.
viction, right? So drop the
Yeah.
con, and then you get viction. And what is viction? Another abbreviated word for the victory of light. The victory of light.
Wow. Because Desert,
What?
I was thinking about that word just a couple of days ago. Um,
Uh,
and I thank you because
you're
I
welcome.
saw the con, but I
Uh-huh.
saw convict and I saw victim in it. But I like yours better.
Right, right. Well,
Yeah.
victim means somebody had victory over them, right? If that's what that is.
Wow.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah. Because Vic is abbreviation of victory. Victim, you got victim as Vic, but Victore, it just depends upon what word you're using. So
Yeah.
Vic,
Yeah.
we need to look at, because like we see, there was a pen called the Bic, and the Bic,
Yes.
writing pen.
Yes.
Well, you remember the B is a V,
There's
and
also
so the pen
yeah.
could be called Vic. You see?
There's also a big lighter. A big lighter. Desert.
Uh-huh. That's right. That's correct. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So you see, so they're cultic, and there is meaning within all these Ashavors. They pick these words, showing that they know the original meanings that we've been trying to unfold here. So Yeshua, he literally, if we spell it in its most primordial sense, is Yal Shulim Va. Yal Shulim Va literally means the serpent, the knowledge of the serpent that goes round. And but in the in the other sense of Yeshua, in the the abbreviated sense, it also means the knowledge of creation, or the knowledge of salvation, the knowledge of that delivers, the knowledge of creation, the knowledge that saves. Remember the word Ashavor. Since we're talking about words, put up Ashavor, Ninja, that
Okay.
two-page
Okay.
book that Shelley pulled together for us.
Yeah.
And the
Excuse me.
Ashavor,
Sorry. I'm looking.
you
Yeah.
you see the word Savior. Okay, you see Savior. Can Desert repeat one more time the ignorance sentence? Sure, Jet, be happy to do that. Hang on. And I know you have a relative I think you want to send that to, right? Um, that's I was talking to Jet there. She'd been dealing with a little persecution by family because she cares, because
Yeah.
she
I can
give the
relate to
French,
that.
but
Yeah.
she gives a damn.
Yeah.
She's asking questions,
Yeah.
and they don't want her asking questions. How dare she want to be concerned about her world and her in her backyard? And so she's fading heat now. I told her it would happen. She kept doing cop watch and sky watch, but that's okay. She's got to follow. She's got to see things for herself, and that's what she's doing. And she's a great spirit, and
Yeah.
who can't love this lady who rides on horseback and interviewing cops and 5G
Yeah.
workers
Exposes
in
5G.
the death
Yeah.
knell. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't even do that. I would have done that. I used to do that stuff, and but I've been already been there and done that. That's what my point was to her, and that ultimately then they come after you. So she's got
Yeah.
a persecution going on
Yeah.
as well. So she needs support. Go to her channel and give her your love. Okay.
I
And
think
so here
sorry,
it
I
is.
think we all have to go through that. Like it's just part of the
Well,
journey, figuring things
we have to
out.
learn the hard way
Um,
sometimes,
yeah,
and then we get a real wake up.
yeah,
We find out this is not our world, and then we can look at the secret world that's hiding within us,
yeah.
the one that's been waiting for us all of our lives. And so, Jet, the quote is again, there is no deeper death than ignorance and lack of trust. Okay, no deeper, no greater, or as I coined it, there is no greater death than ignorance and lack of trust. And the trust has to be in the one who made us, Yeshua. There is nobody else you can rely on nor trust. You want to find a brotherhood of people that actually follow that truth and have put on that light. And there's 600 different versions of Christianity out there, but there's only one. There is only one true um, true way, and that is the pure path, and that is separated from hypocrisy and darkness and the deceptions of this world. The truth is not a part of any lie, or as it goes in my favorite quote in 1 John 2:27. But the anointing that you have received of Him abides in you, and you need not that anyone teach you, because the same anointing teaches you about all things, and it is truth, and it is not a part of any lie. Therefore, even as it teaches you, you will remain in it. So when your universe is opening up like a flower, and Yeshua is revealing His truth, and you've developed a relationship with Him, how could you want anything else? He is the there is only one sovereignty. We hear people talk about sovereignty, but yet there is no sovereignty on earth in the Masons and all these occultic, they call them, think of themselves as super sovereigns, but they can't keep their souls alive, so they don't have sovereignty. There is only one sovereign. He's the one who made the universe, and the only way you can be sovereign is to be with Him. You can be sovereign with the sovereign. He will come to your aid when you need Him, as He's been doing for me all my life. Okay. And hey, Christina, good to have you on the broadcast. And hope things are going well for you out there in California. And I know California's burning down too. But so we want to put on the sovereignty of our true nature of life, and and I mean it's every your life is how you spend all your time taking care of yourself. Well, how have we prepared for eternity? Have we prepared ourselves? Because we're going somewhere. We're here for a blip on the radar screen, for one heartbeat of the great one, okay? And we're here and gone tomorrow. Here today, gone tomorrow. Go look at a video from 1900s, those black and white, videos of New York City or, somewhere, and just realize all of those people that were here yesterday are gone. They are gone. And so, oh, now they're playing the buffering game with me, and just so that everything I say won't be coming through. So maybe we'll have to wait and see. Now it's my screen is
Okay,
getting
yeah. I've got the
hazy.
I've
Oh,
got
I
the
I think I
yeah.
want to faint. Oh, let's go.
I've got the little circle.
Yeah,
Okay, it was
they're just
green
good
the
at
whole
playing their games
time.
on us, aren't
Yeah, it was green
they?
the
And
whole time, and it's come back, and we've got 8 watching, according to.
yeah, and we have
Yeah.
praise, power, just us. Okay, welcome to the broadcast. I don't know if
G'day,
we've seen
and g'day,
them before.
Christina.
Yeah, and
Yeah, love you all,
so let me.
and I've just got a red line, so it'll probably start
I'm going to
buffering
do
again.
a reboot
Yeah.
on my browser. Okay, that seemed to work. I got a clear screen again. So let me continue. We're talking about Age of Wars. We're going to do a few words, and then I'm going to do a book review, and then I've got 2 reads. One of them is the book review is going to be on the Revelation of the Magi, and a book that came out of the Vatican. Go figure, right? That we may want to check out. I'm just starting to read it now, and then I have an update on that book that was the beloved companion, the Gospel of the Beloved Companion, the complete the Gospel of Mary of Magdala. It's basically a fraud because it's really the Gospel of John, and it appears to be the most primitive Gospel of John available, and so I'm gonna point it out and show you how the game is played, and then we have the KOLBRIN that to do last, and
Does
which
it
is
have a? Oh, sorry. Sorry.
sorry
Please continue.
okay, which is the of out of the book of what's called the morals and precepts. Another one of the volumes written by Joseph of Arimathea. I even now know his correct title. He has several names actually because of his greatness. He of who he was within the royal family, and the great merchant as well, friend of Tiberius Caesar. But so yeah, I got a ways to go. When I was just going to do Q&A, I guess I just can't do it, Ninja. I got to keep coming back with more
I know
ammunition. So
every time, like always, the lead up to the next live stream lately. Every time um we communicate, you mention another read that like you add to the reading part of the live
oh,
stream.
I'm absolutely blown away right now. I've got some of the most important reading going on in my life between the Kaledi that came out of New Zealand, and
Yeah,
we've mentioned it
it's
on the last couple
beautiful.
broadcasts. They can
Yeah,
go back and listen, and also the KOLBRIN, and then of course this secret document that was hiding all these years now come out, but they used it to pretend it was promoting Mary of Magdala, or and it's not. They changed it out to make it look that way, and that's this Magdalene thing that goes back to the Da Vinci Code and Dan Brown's book, and how supposedly
yeah,
Mary Magdalene and Jesus were in love, and
yeah,
his name isn't even Jesus. Of course, we know our Redeemer. His name was not Jesus. All of these are the frauds that have been handed to us. They continually play their little charade because they control media, they control publishing. They're hiding all of our documents in their basement, so they can control the narrative. But the beauty is Yeshua is the revealer, and through a lifetime of discovery and practice of and collecting of lost writings and being a transliterator, and knowing the game how it's played, and being a political activist was part of that discovery. I now can read their little game, and so I'm actually going to be able to break the code right here on the broadcast in a little bit if I can pace myself here. And so
wow.
and
Yeah.
appropriately goes right into the word Mayan. But before I talk about the word Mayan, which it means illusion and magic, what is it you wanted to say, Ninja? Because you had something.
Oh, yeah, sorry. My timing's really off at the moment just because of the kind of life that I have at the moment. Um, yeah, I think it's all started to catch up a little bit. But I'm loving this moment. I'm loving being here, and I'm so glad that you can't help yourself with bringing reads on because I love hearing
Yeah.
it. So
Well,
anyway,
it
the
seemed like, well, hold on. I just want to say it seems
okay,
like that our game is over on YouTube because of the games they played with us, and their how do you want to say it, that they do not love truth. They are here to hide the truth like all other media. So therefore, when all the games have been played on us, nobody likes to have games played on them, and to be beaten down, and that's why we after a couple years on this their tube, then and alls we've had is attacks, and games
yeah,
played with the numbers, and suppression of our algorithm. So, of course, I use all the wrong words. We talk about the reality and the truth, and so naturally, we're beaten down. But we're still swinging because we're noticing, we're observing how they are treating others that are on here as truth tellers, and so it seems like we have a little bit of time left to still do a broadcast, but I didn't want to put out a lot of energy anymore for
yeah,
this medium, because if it's going to go in just a few days or a few weeks, then what's the point of putting out all that energy? I'm attempting to convert towards the transliteration project, which we do need support for, because we already have several books we can publish, and just don't have the grassroots support for it. And so we hope that people. So in this broadcasting that we do, we want people to get the realization that we're revealing what has been stolen from us, not the false narrative, the controlled version, the where they put the spell on us with the gospel, because gospel is go spell. Oh, now they're buffering again. Here we go with the
I
buffer.
was just
Every time
typing
I
in the
get with the
chat.
key,
Yeah, I
element,
was. Yep.
then they're going to go ahead and play the buffer game.
I was just
Hi,
gonna
Buffy, how
ask
you
you.
doing?
Normally, it reconnects. There we go. It's green
All
and
right,
it's
then
white
you
and
know how
it's
to do
red.
this.
Colors
Back
that
up,
I've never
okay?
seen before. And now it's going
Okay.
blue.
All right. Okay. It went blue. Okay. Well, it shows we're on the special blue list, right? Of course. All right, we're back up, I think. Give me an audio check. Audio check out there. We got about 20 listeners, but it only says 4. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. We know
It
the
seems
score,
to have
ladies and gentlemen.
it seems to have settled. It's like it's still a red line on the channel page, but the OBS is green, so it should. Oh no,
Okay.
it's going silly again.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the audio check. I'm gonna try to continue here. Did you finish what you were talking about?
No.
Ninja. We were going back and forth. All right. If you remember, just
I've forgotten
okay.
some of it, but I have a
All
word
right.
here.
All
That's
right.
been
Remember. Okay.
yeah.
Let me just remind people. Tell them to refresh. Anybody, just don't forget to refresh.
I'm not refreshing, otherwise I don't want to touch anything. I can still see the chat is active, and I'm happy with that. So
Right. That's you.
yeah,
Okay. All right.
because it's
We're
been
back
on
at
my
it. So can I pick up, or are you going to out of the Hindu? You see, it's a Hindu word. And so, I pointed out that the unseen hand is the ancient Aryan Brahmin priesthood, and the front is the Hindu. The little brown Hindu is the front. You see, hiding behind it, the Aryan Zavram. And so Mayan is also a Hindu word, and I just realized that. And what is the meaning of the word? It is the illusion and magic. And so there we see the word Mayan, with magi, which we spell as Magi, or Maji, but J is a corruption. It would really be a G. It is a G actually, Ji, but we can see it Mayan. If it's the original Mayan, then it would be like this, Maygan, and there's the magic. See, the word magic is in the Megain, because the Megain is the month of May, and gain is garden. So it's May, May, apostrophe S, garden, Garden, of the garden, because that's when all of life begins to blossom again. Every year, the same cycle over and over and over. So, but yet it is, and that's why we have to pull things together about who we really are, what we are, why we are, and when we are, because everybody wants to hold on to the earth, but you can't. You can't keep your body alive on this planet. You are going somewhere, whether you like it or not, and your home is not here. This was a bridge, as we pointed out with the letter H. You can live for him. And if you don't die to this world, and if you want to hold on to this world, and think you can have the cake and party, and then eternity at the same time, that's not the spiritual truth. You have to die to the world so you can live. There's two of you, and one of them is the illusion. That's the serpent. That's the flesh. The Lost Gospel of John. That's really what it is. The Lost Gospel of John. So that's my end. And so go ahead, Ninja. Back to you. And I got 3 words that I'm going to follow with after this. But you
okay.
go next.
Well, I have something to add to that, and then I still have the word that's been on my mind for the last week. Um, um, okay, you were talking about May and how everything springs to life, but not here where I am because it's the start of winter. But it's amazing to see Jet right birthing in there in the chat just when I was thinking of it because I was born in May and it's winter here. So there was some life springing, um, yeah, in this part of the world in May when I was born. Um, so I just wanted to share that, Desert.
Very good. I had you on mute. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, I'm
I muted
sorry.
out.
I'm seeing
Um,
weird colors again on my screen, and I thought you'd disappeared. Yeah,
no.
so that was
Okay.
that. Just the
Right.
yeah, just comparison, and I'll get this word done. Uh, yeah, um, I was looking at the word six. I can't say it. I was looking at the word success. Success. Um, and noticed when I chopped it in half, it starts with suck, so that's not right. Um, and cess, well, that's the start of other words that aren't very nice, like
And what word are you working with? I'm lost right now, Ninja. So,
success. S U
oh,
C C E S. Success. I see the complete
sec.
opposite in that word.
Okay, well, but it's not the word suck. It's sec. Okay, so
Okay.
it's like the word secular, like the word successive, like the word second. You see, so you're pronouncing it wrong, and so yeah,
Okay.
so that's you see, so you got to compare all of those variable words that use that same prefix, and then compare them, and you get a better picture of how this Indo-Germanic root is being used. Okay, yeah. And but real quick, because I think Jet had a question about what was I saying after something about the May, and only that it was May is the magic. The time of the month of May is when the illusion of a creation unfolds. But then at the end of the year, everything dies and goes back into the cycle. So nature is telling us over and over: beginning, ending, beginning, ending. We are in a life cycle that has a beginning, and that which has a beginning has to have an ending. Yet our spirit comes from the infinite. And so we have to identify with our eternal being, not eternal, but eternal, and then put on and in other words, as one axiom is that whatever you focus on, that's what you become conscious of. So if we focus on the temporal things of the world, well, then at one point we'll end up with nothing. But if we focus on what is eternal, what is prior to the beginning, which is spirit, then before matter came into being, then it opens up to us. Whatever we focus on, that's what we become conscious of. So nobody is focusing correctly, and part of it's not their fault because we've been lied to from the beginning. So we have to be willing to hear some things we've never heard before, to potentially see some things we have never seen before. Okay. So, are you there, Ninja?
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute because I was listening.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So
Thank
another
you.
word.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Well, I forgot half of what I was going to say, but at least I got part of it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so here's a word that was interesting. Yo Shelley picked this one up the other day, and I want to share with everyone. And Parents is an anagram for one more time, one more confirmation. Serpent, right? There it is. Parents were the serpent that brought you into being. Serpents beget serpents. Okay, and don't forget you had to put on the SHIRT
It
and
fits
pants.
perfectly. That fits
P
perfectly.
PANTS. Shirt pants. Okay, shirt pants. Gospel is go spell. They're joking with us, Jet. They knew that we couldn't even get the joke, let alone be able to interpret the original words because they stole all the original words. They educated us from day one, from our diapers with television, and then preschool, and then kindergarten, and then the children of the garden. That's kindergarten, children of the garden. Okay, and nobody even ever thought about that, but let alone we are in the lower garden, right? And little baby slaves. There you go. And we've been trained. Look, they get all of the little ones, watching violent television. Do you think it's natural to be watching violent television. I don't think so, but that's what they get a little. So now they're happy to kill, right? That's why they're willing to fly those airplanes around and
Yeah.
do all the things they
They've,
do
they've been
to people.
desensitized over
And the
time. Yeah.
Freemasonic order that gang stalk people all over the world.
Yep.
They're willing to play games with other people's lives because
Yep.
they were trained to be psychopathic murderers. That's why,
Yep.
because they find pleasure in initiating other people's suffering. It's a psychological power trip
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
psychopathic behavior. You
Yeah.
know,
It's like a
and
drug. It's like an addiction.
it is
Yeah.
the more you get to do, and plus you got the secret grand haling sign. So if you went in a courtroom, just give the grand haling sign. Oh, and you walk because the judge is playing the game as well, selling mankind into slavery on Wall Street with the birth certificate, putting you in the Hilton Hotel of prison for life, and they make a percentage off of every take they create. What a racket they perpetrated on mankind, and I've been exposing this shell game for over 30 years, Ninja, and the
Yeah.
only thing it got me was persecution, but a great dose of enlightenment, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't trade that for anything
Yeah.
because we're, you know,
Yeah.
mhm, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
so Ty,
I'm feeling it right now. I'm right with you there. Um. Yeah. I'm just. I'm very grateful at the moment. So please continue. I'm happy to listen.
okay. So tiger is a word in the Hindu. It's takal, and that means to shine. So just like the lion represents the sun, then also to shine is the aspect of what that means. Tiger or tekal, and it means to shine, and that's also what the lion represents is the sun. So in other words, it represents the fire, the fire of the sun. Okay.
Is that why they have a lion in the Wizard of Oz?
Well, there could be something in the symbolism there. I hadn't looked at it close enough, but they are express. Well, but we see what they're doing in it with the lion, right? The lion was afraid, right? So
Yeah.
they're mocking
Yeah.
the sun, just
Yeah.
like they have what's called the black sun, right? And they always denigrate the light, right? And so it's part of, yeah. So it's
Wow.
representing the sun, but they're mocking it by saying
Yeah.
he's afraid, he's a scaredy cat,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
You there?
yeah, okay, I'm here. And so Jed is saying exactly, deserts and light is opening our eyes too. Well, thank you,
Yes. Yeah.
Jed.
That's yes. Thank you, Jet. I'm not
But it's
very
but
good
it's opening
with.
mine as well.
Yeah.
Okay, it's opening mine
Yeah.
because the more I get to share with all of you, the more Yeshua is giving to me. He says, "You be loyal and or faithful with the little, and I will give you more." You see,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so
Sorry, saying it better than what I can at the moment. I'm not very good with words. I'm not very good with the Aishavors right now, desert, just because I'm tired. But that's what I was trying to express to you. You sharing and telling your story about how you went through the struggle and out of it, you found you're strengthening a beautiful connection with Yeshua and revealing pure truth and the code. It's beautiful. It helps us all connect. Like we can resonate with that. So thank you. Anyway, please continue. Sorry.
that's all right. And then I
Yeah.
have one more. The word Aishamash, as you see, we use the word Aisha as revealing the the original thought because it is in the word Aisha. I don't appreciate people grandstanding on this program. By the way, we're trying to do a presentation, and then people come in here and they throw out a bunch of nonsense and play games, and we don't play games here. Okay, everybody has to respect the fact that other people are trying to focus on this broadcast, and then people come on doing their little twiddly winks, and so that's why somebody just got dropped from this program. Okay, we don't have time for this nonsense. Okay,
We don't
so
have
thank you
time,
very much.
so yeah.
Right, and so Ashamash, Ashamash is a term uh, uh, that means a symbol of the divine forces of the universe.
Wow.
And so I had, as you know, I've been writing these cards down for the last few weeks, and I haven't been able to get them out, and just so it's not fresh in my mind, and I'm having to regroup. But like the word Samson, means like the sun,
Yeah.
and so we see the word Sam because Mosh backwards, you see the word Sam is in there, and it's also in the word sham. We see the word sham. We know something that is shammed is something that's been broken, like in a courtroom. A sham trial, so to speak. We use the term like that. And so, but when they talk about Uncle Sam, the U.S. United States, they call it Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
And these terminology, Uncle Sam wants you, right? Then there's Samael. Samael was one of the fallen watchers, and so the code, what they're playing with within these words, is like as I pointed out with the word Bart Simpson. If you know that the T is silent, you shut it off. Then you get Bar Simpson, which is really Bar Samson. So they are saying they're like the sun because Samson means like the sun, and so they're claiming to be the force of the sun while they denigrate it
Does it? Can you
at the
just
same time.
repeat that? Can you just
Uh,
repeat that?
Well, okay, like Samson is a code. Okay, you know how they
Yeah.
give out their code on Bart Simpson? It's a cartoon,
Yes,
and they're
yes, that's
telling
why I
and they're
wanted you
telling
to
their
repeat it because I heard Bart Simpson and I just wanted to make sure that I was hearing correctly.
they're they're
Yeah,
using Bart Simpson to give
yeah,
their script,
yeah,
right? Their play
yeah,
by play of what they're going to predictive programming,
yeah.
and what Bart Simpson is a code for is Bar Shamson,
Okay,
Shamson, and it means like the sun. And
yeah.
so literally they're saying born of the sun, that they're born of the sun. Okay,
And even like on the cartoon, he's yellow, and the hair on his head is like a drawing of the sun. The way his hair is on his. Anyway, yeah.
very
Sorry.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the last word I wanted to give out. Okay. I'm just trying to make connections for people. They've got to see these things for
Yeah.
themselves. It's a deep study to be able to unravel the conspiracy against mankind
Yeah.
and how they've destroyed all of our literary traditions. But it is possible to see and read things for yourself there, and that's coming up next in a very powerful read. I'm going to do a review real quick. I'll tell you what, before we get into the books, why don't we go take a break now, Ninja, and then when we come back, we'll get into the books, okay? Because I've got a review. I'm just going to tell everybody about the Revelation of the Magi. They may want to get a copy of, and then the other two books I've already mentioned. Okay, we've got a good ways to go yet, and we're just getting started because I've got a profound read from the Book of Morals and Precepts by Joseph of Arimathea. I mean, this is the next to the Book of Wisdom. This was just too big for me to have typed out yet. Uh, but it is a great another book of wisdom. Okay, and so we've got something you want to hear coming up next. All right, Ninja, back to you.
Okay. Um, we'll be right back after the break. Can't wait. I can't wait. This is going to be amazing. And you won't hear it anywhere else. Okay. So please stay with us. Um, and enjoy the break. Sorry, I'm scrolling. I'm looking for the music break. I won't be a moment. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. We have a beautiful read coming up. I'd like to welcome any new listeners and welcome back the ones that are already here. And welcome back, Desert. Welcome back, everybody. Yeah,
Thank you.
no worries.
Not worried. Are you worried?
Not right now. No.
Okay. Oh, you've been worried a little bit, but you got to stop that.
Yeah, I know. I
So
know. I'm
yeah,
getting there. I'm getting there.
because there is no worry in Yeshua. There is only trust, and He comes true for those who serve Him, and that's the good news, Ninja. So
Um,
so
um,
mhm.
Sorry. I have a little bit of a beautiful story. I wanted to add something to the live stream, a little video,
Uh-huh.
and my computer wouldn't let me do it. I just relating to all of this, the struggle and all the world crumbling around me. I saw something today uh, because I'm with your help and the help of connecting and uh, connecting with Yeshua through this struggle, because I'm always being pushed um, towards Him with the struggle. And I saw something today. I saw I saw something beautiful on the lake. There were two black swans, and we don't see as many of those these days either. But there were two black swans, and they had a little baby, a fluffy little baby swan.
Wow.
Probably about a teenager, I'd say, um, equivalent to a teenager. Like, it wasn't a tiny one, but it was still all fluffy and grey, and it was just so beautiful to see. And I'm learning to see the signs in nature and the communication um, through nature, and that's what I saw when I saw
Yeah.
the swans with the baby.
Hmm. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, it warmed my
Beautiful.
heart in a awful
Yeah.
situation down here. So yeah,
Absolutely.
it
Yeah.
was good
Well,
to see.
it's
Yeah,
nice to see the birth when so much death is going on for sure.
yeah.
Ninja, I didn't know that flower would be so blurry when it was blown up. So since
Is
it's
it?
not a
Oh,
fine picture, why don't you go with some? We have a lot of other nice pictures and find one that is good for the reading. Okay. Yeah,
okay.
that's
I'm looking.
it's good when it was small, but it blows up blurry. It's not the right what they call it, bit rate, or I don't know how to use those terms, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know
Okay,
what
so
you
I'm
mean.
going to do a review. And so I just got in a couple days ago a book called The Revelation of the Magi and the Lost Tale of the Wise Men's Journey to Bethlehem, first English translation of a forgotten ancient manuscript by Brent Landau. Landau is spelled Landau. Brent Landau. And so you can get a copy somewhere on the internet. Just do a search. And Vatican Library Discovery reveals the wise man's astonishing vision of the birth of Yeshua. It says Christmas story here, so they're
Oh,
obviously good Catholics, because they're promoting Christmas at the same. They keep referring to it as the Christmas story. Well, Yeshua was never born in December, and he was born during the period of the Feast of Booths between September and October. And anyway, but so it's an interesting read. I just started it, so I can't comment much other than to say it looks like a legitimate document. We know that the handlers are always going to filter out anything that would be truly significant or revolutionary, but nonetheless, I think it's telling the story uh, as a legitimate document here. I have one highlight. Let's see what this highlight says. Where'd that go? Okay. Hang on. You know, there you go. I'll tell you what, my
okay. I got 0 people watching now.
okay. Well, I've got
Yeah.
three, so we're okay.
Okay.
So these two highlights I see here is this one is, for it is the great mystery. Oh, that's a very the Northern Lights, Ninja. That's a nice picture. Thank you. For it is the great mystery of the Son of the exalted Majesty, who is the voice of the great Father, the offspring of his hidden thought. There you go. Let's read that again. For it is the great mystery of the Son of the exalted Majesty, who is the voice of the great Father, the offspring of his hidden thought. That's what Yeshua was, the offspring of his hidden thought. And then this other highlight is, and you will go before, talking about the Magi, I'm sure this is what it's saying, and you will go before, because they had the record. In other words, just to cap off this story here, they had the record of the one who would come to save mankind in the Persian tradition, and
Yeah.
they kept it preserved from generation to generation to generation, waiting for the sign in the sky, because even the Mithraic Zoroastrian tradition were waiting for the Redeemer of the world to come. It wasn't just exclusive to Yerushalayim, just like we talk about the duality. The Persian tradition that was brought in by Zarathustra, aka Zoroaster, about Ahura Mazda, which is the tradition that set Israel, the pseudo-Israel, free from Babylon, let them go back to build the temple. So there is a parallel story that is working in favor with this that we are embellishing today. And the Persians were also waiting for the one who comes with the throne of the sun. Oh, there goes the buffering again, so we can't get out the full blossom of this story. The buffering
Yeah.
one more
Yeah.
time.
And the stream is
Ninja,
good.
try to
It's
try
green.
to find another picture. That's not a real good picture of Aurora Borealis either. So let's try another one. Okay, but so this other highlight, it over again. Yeah, they just they just hate the. Okay, it's back. Okay, we're
Yeah.
back.
We've got a
Okay,
green
audio
line.
check out there. Need an audio check, please. And
Yeah.
okay, audio
I know.
check before we start.
Yeah.
Audio. Okay, thank you, Shelley. And so here's another highlight I did in here. And you will go before him with love and joy, taking with your gifts, taking with you your gifts, and you will worship in the presence of the royal eyes of creation, the child that is despised, that is to be despised, poor, and killed. That is to be. I need to just take a note here. Hang on. To be. All right. And so they were instructed through tradition. Okay, that's what they were instructed through tradition. And so yeah, check it out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm reviewing it, and it looks like it is a legitimate work that has been hiding from us. They've hit it all. We had a library. Okay, we had a library, and it's all been hidden away from us. So we have to become scholars. We have to be journalists and researchers, and we have to go where we never thought we would go before in order to find the truth, ladies and gentlemen. It's a work, it's a walk, it's a whack, and it's a wake all at the same time. And when I say wake, I really didn't mean funeral, but there you go, right? They play with the word. So
Yeah.
okay, so with I on about a broadcast ago, one or two, I can't remember now. I mentioned, I think it was two broadcasts ago, I referred to the Gospel of the Beloved Companion,
Yeah.
the complete Gospel of Mary Magdalene, and I knew there was something going on that wasn't right in the story because
Yeah. You mentioned
they're
that
trying.
last time, I think, the last stream. Yeah.
Okay, and so they're mentioning the propagation is that Mary Magdalene was the wife of lover slash wife, the way they portray it, lover slash
Yeah.
wife
Yeah.
of Yeshua, and they had a baby secretly, and they're calling this the sacred bloodline, the Holy Grail, and and all these terminologies. It's all smoke and mirrors, of course. And when you read the Aquarian Gospel, ladies and gentlemen, which is the original gospel, it is the bedrock story of the life of Yeshua. We find that when Yeshua rose from the dead, the first one that he appeared to was his mother, Mariam. Okay, and it makes sense that he would appear first to his mother because we're told to honor our mother and our father, and therefore, who would be in greater pain and struggle than the one who brought life to the great royal Malak
Wow.
of the universe, and then to when she thought he was going to rule Jerusalem, or to bring back the ruling authority of the royal family to Yaru Shalom. Next thing she sees, he gets crucified. Well, so clearly his attention would be directed towards his mother
Yeah.
before it would have been to a latecomer into the story who we call Mary Magdalene, or which is a misnomer because it's correctly Mare or Miriam of Magdala. Magdala meaning the center of idolatry, the place where she lived, the
Yeah.
center of idolatry. So we have the duality of two centers. One is Yarul Shalom, the center of the one, the one, the one, the one deity, or the one light, a monotheistic tradition, in contrast to basically the rest of the world, which was polytheistic, meaning they created many gods in all of these other traditions. Unlike Zarathustra with Mithraism, because they recognize the one, the Ahura Mazda. Remember, he's known by many names, and so don't be taken aback by these different terminologies, because we have to go there and see what they meant when they said what they breathed. We just can't judge things on the surface. We have to become deep thinkers and analyze these things, read some books, and get a better picture. So the point is that there were two centers, and so Mary of Magdala, who was a whore that was cured by Yeshua. It said he cast out of her seven dark natures. Well, symbolically, that's time. He pulled her out of time of the lower world of earth and brought her into the eternal way, the eternal walk, the day without end, which is known as the day without end, because we are both right now in eternity, whether we acknowledge it or not, as well as in time. We are in both. That's the duality. You look at the illusions and you count time by the sun and the moon and everything going round. Or you can recognize that it is a day without end, and you are always in the divine presence, and so even when you go to sleep, you're still conscious, and you're
Desert.
act. Yeah.
Um, sorry, you just helped me realize something. That's why things seem to flow better when you stay in the moment and you stop worrying about the future or dwelling about the past. Yes?
Huh? Say it again. You stop worrying. You stop worrying about the future. Is that what
when
you
you
said?
stop, yeah, when you stay in that present moment, things seem to flow flow better, and they're more positive. Being uh, Yeah, when you stay in the moment, because you're not worrying about the future or dwelling on the past, which is time, like what
Right.
you were saying. That's what I
Absolutely.
see. Yeah,
Very good. Yeah.
thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. So what's going on in here is that they're promoting. So what they did is they came out with this lost gospel. This is the lost gospel of John. And what they did, because it was so powerful, there is so much more material in here than we have in the other gospels. but yet it is clearly John. You can see that this is another version of the Gospel of John that has the missing texts. Okay, and so they always want to come out with something better. Like just like the Alex Jones. He always has the best information because he's one of them. So he's
Yeah.
always going to have the
Yeah.
best information. He's always going to be on the cutting edge while he's giving you the disinformation
Yeah.
at the same time. They control the information by always looking the best. And so what they do is they bring out of the archives a more one of the most original or ancient versions of the Gospel of John, and then they change some of the wording in there and they lace it with the narrative about the only love, the beloved, as being Mary of Magdalene. When we know that in the Gospel of John, and what finally nailed it to the wall was when they were at the Last Supper, and it said that Mary of Magdala was leaning against his breast, and that she was the only the beloved, right? But yet we know that it was Yalganun, John, who was leaning against his breast and asked, "Who is it that's betraying you?" But they made it in this one Mary Magdalene and Mary Magdala, and then said
Wow.
she was beloved. And once I read that, I said, "Bingo, there it is."
Yeah.
They just switched out the fact because we know that John was the beloved. Why? Because the most loved. To use the terminology, the beloved, the most loved, because John Yalganun, who was a Levitical scribe, notice that he went everywhere Yeshua went with his brother Yaakov, James, and also Kepha, Peter, because Peter being a misnomer, because they were James and John were the Levitical scribes who wrote everything down, and also therefore they created two witnesses that made everything truth, established the truth about everything Yeshua did. But then Kepha was going to be the leader in Yerushalayim Shalom, so that's why he also went everywhere, two or three witnesses, and then but yet when they're at the Last Supper, then it's Yalganun leaning against him, and he's referred to as the one who Yeshua loved more than the others. Why? Because if you read the Aquarian Gospel, which is the original Gospel, the bedrock story of the life of Yeshua, we find out that they were boyhood friends. They grew up together. They were buddies. And so naturally, he would have loved John more than anyone because of the relationship that they had as boyhood friends. And then John goes on to becoming a Levitical scribe, preparing himself for the Molishianke, the Messiah, right? That he's going to write down everything his buddy does, you know. And so anyway, the point is that what was then the other part in here where they supplemented John with the woman Mary of Magdala, then they also supplemented in here a part that belonged to the mother of Yeshua. The mother of Yeshua was speaking because note, we never hear Mary, uh, the mother of Yeshua, speaking anywhere but in a very few places, like when Yeshua was at the temple and then, when he was 12 years old, and he says, "Don't you know that we were worried about you? We looked for you for 3 days." That's about the only dialogue we get from her, except maybe one other instance. But yet, after so when we read about in the Aquarian that he appeared to his mother first, then we find out in the Gospel of John that they had not yet witnessed him to be alive yet. She saw him and they didn't, and so they asked her some questions, and then Kepha was confused because Kepha Peter thought he was going to be the head of the local body in Jerusalem, and so that's and then I was able to pinpoint this scripture of the dialogue with Mary, the mother, prior to just prior to when they went fishing, and then he appears to them and he says to Peter three times, "Do you love me, Peter?" And this is in the Gospel of John, by the way. "Do you love me, Kefe? Do you love me more than all of these?" And he says, "You know I love you more than all of these." He says, "Then feed my sheep." He does it three times. And the reason he did that is because of this dialogue that we find right here that I'm about to share with you. I'm going to give you one sample because without only having to read it one time, ladies and gentlemen, the code has been cracked about Mary Magdala. They've got to promote Mary because she represents whoredom, and they replaced her with the Virgin Mother Mary. They replaced the virgin with the whore. Now after you've listened to this broadcast for 3 years, to a year and a half, Ninja, doesn't that quite make sense? Right? The black
Yes.
sun. Right? They
I'm just
they always
yeah.
supplement, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, just
Okay.
I'm just wowing.
So so
Yeah.
listen to some spiritual truth, ladies and
So
gentlemen, you've never heard before, and so strap in, okay, because this is fantastic. And I'm gonna go.
can I just ask one question? Um,
Okay.
was she real or is she made up?
No, she's real.
Yeah.
She's real, but she was not. But in the occult, but the occultic are promoting her, and they want to make her look favored above all the others.
Okay.
You see, in
Okay.
other words, to make the woman the leader, because you see, in the ancient tradition, it was about the matriarchy, and we know that the reason the Masons call themselves the widow's sons is because they killed the father by destroying our truth. They killed the father, which he is, and gave us all the whore. They served the blind goddess, and so the matriarchy. What we got with Yeshua was the patriarchy, the father. Remember, he introduced us to the father, and so they killed the father. That's why the Masons call themselves the widow's sons, and they brought us back to the matriarchy. So they're promoting the woman, the one that is
Yeah.
preferred.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. And so it's not about men are better than women or women better than men. It has everything to do with relationship. And okay, and so our natures tell a story within creation. We all have a purpose. We all have a job to do. And so the point is what when he cured Mary of Magdala, uh, when he cast out the seven natures, it's like it's reflective of him pulling her out of the world. The seven is the seven of time, 7 days in the week. And so she's healed from that. And so he took the whore, he made her a virgin because we all have to become virgins, right? Remember the story about our marriage with the spirit is that we are the virgins. There were five wise virgins who had oil in their lamp, and there were five unwise virgins who had no oil in their lamp. And so our lamp is ready to be lit. The oil is truth. So we're all virgins. We make ourselves virgins by being pure in our thoughts and our actions, and then we're ready to be married to the great breath of the wind and fire, the Holy Spirit. You see? Okay? And so they've asked Mary, um, what is hidden from you? I will and so they asked Mary, what did he tell you? What did Yeshua tell you that we have not heard? What is it, that we're missing? And I'm because I'm just elaborating on this other chapter here. I can't read it all and I'm losing my voice. So but I want to give you the answer. That's most important. Okay, what is hidden from you I will proclaim to you. And she began to speak to them the Eshavors, the words that Yeshua had given her. My mother star spoke this way to me, and he breathed. Miriam, blessed are you who came into being before coming into being. That's the spirit, right? That's what we talked about. Before creation, we are spirits. And whose eyes were always set upon the royal domain. How were they always set? Because she was dedicated to temple service at 3 years old. 3 years old till age 14, she lived in the temple and served Yahweh. That's who she was, who from the beginning has comprehended and followed my seed plantings, my teachings. Only from the truth, from the tree's root, throughout all time, I breathe before you. There is a great tree within you, a tree that wants to grow, that does not change, summer or winter. And it's the same in all of us, ladies and gentlemen. And its leaves never fall. That's the evergreen tree, ladies and gentlemen. Symbolically, the evergreen tree, because the tree never dies. It's evergreen. Who and the leaf or the green foliage lives for 3 years before it produces new foliage. It's continually shedding and growing new foliage. The evergreen. Whosoever listens to my Eshavors, my words, and ascends to its corona, that's the crown, the corona, the sun, will not taste death, but know the truth of eternal life. Then he showed me a vision in which I saw a great tree that seemed to reach unto the throne of the sun. And as I saw these things, he breathed. The roots of this tree are in the earth, which is your serpent eye, your body. The trunk extends upwards through the 5 regions of humanity to the corona of the sun, which is the royal domain of the Asia fire, the royal domain of the spirit. There are 8 great branches upon this tree, and each branch bears its own fruit, which you must eat in all its fullness, as the fruit of the trees in the Genon, the garden, caused Adam and Keva, and literally the word is Keva here, okay? So they got a lot of original thought coming out here. Keva, to fall into darkness, okay? They fell from the tree, within the tree. So this fruit will grant to you the light of the Asia fire that is eternal life in the spirit. Between each branch is a gate and a guardian who challenges the formerly unworthy who try and pass. The leaves at the bottom of the tree are thick and plentiful, so no light penetrates to illuminate the way. And so think of the foliage, right? When you're at the lower part, it's really dense, but the idea is to get higher and higher in the tree. That's what's going on here. I'll back up. So no light penetrates to illuminate the way, but fear not, for he said, I am the way, the truth, and the light. And I tell you that as one ascends up the tree, the leaves that block one from the light are fewer, so that it is possible to see all the more clearly. Those who seek to ascend must free themselves of the world. If you do not free yourself from the world, you will die in the darkness that is the root of the tree. But if you free yourself, you will rise and reach the light that is the eternal life of the spirit, the Asia fire. And as he said these things, I felt my soul ascend, and I saw the first great branch that bears the fruit of love and compassion. See, so there's the first great branch that bears the fruit of love and compassion, the foundation of all things. And I knew that before you can eat of this fruit and gain its nourishment, you must be free of all prejudgment and condemnation and anger. When you have freed yourself of these burdens, you must eat the fruit and so gain the love and compassion that will allow you to pass the first of the 7 guardians. And I heard the 7 other guardians, the first of the 7 other guardians. And I heard the voice of the Yahweh, ruler of fire, calling to me. Let me just take a note. I just saw that for the first time. He's the ruler of fire. Calling to me. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I see what it's saying here. It's the second time I'm reading this. Okay. And I heard the voice of the, and it's the, it's very likely it's talking about the ruler of the darkness, calling to me, but I denied him, and he had no part in me because he had no part in me. So denying the fire of wrath, denying, how we're challenged every day, Ninja, right? By
Yeah.
the emotions, right?
Yeah.
We're challenged, and we've got
Yeah.
to
Fiery
conquer
anger
that.
and all that sort of thing.
And so we
Darkness.
have to
Yeah.
become victory, have victory of light, and conquer those emotions. If we conquer those lower
Yeah.
emotions, guess what? We get up to the next gate
Yeah.
and branch. So here we go. So I saw my soul ascending further upward, and he showed me the second great branch, weighed down with the fruit of wisdom and knowledge. And I saw before that you can taste of its bounty. You must be free of all ignorance and intolerance.
Wow.
Only then, only then can you eat of the fruit and so pass upward unhindered through the second of the seven gates. And I heard the voice of ignorance call to me, but I knew him not. And so my soul passed farther unchallenged. Then my mother star showed me the third great branch, which bears the fruit of honor and humility. Only when free of all duplicity and arrogance may you partake of its nourishment. And guilt called to me, saying, "You are not worthy, go back."
Wow.
But my soul was deaf to him. And so I moved on upward and into that increasing light. And then there came the fourth branch, blossoming with the fruit of strength and courage. And I heard him tell me that to eat of this fruit, you must have freed yourself from the weaknesses of the flesh and confronted and conquered the illusion of your fears. And the mother star, the virgin of the world, stood before me and claim me as, oh, okay, okay, the I now see again, I'm reading it the second time and now I get it. It's the master of this world, which is the whore. That's why it's not the Magdalene, because it is the virgin that we want to embrace. And the mother star, the whore of the world, stood before me and claimed me as his own, but I denied him. And the whore became, because the whore had no part with me. Only then my mother star told me, when you have rejected the deceiver, that's man, that's the illusion, that's the earth, it's all combined. Only when you have rejected the deceiver, and that's the flesh, can you pass through the hardest gate of all to attain the fifth branch and the fruit of clarity and of truth. Only then will you know the clarity and the truth of your soul, who you are, where you are, when you are, why you are, and knowing yourself for the very first time. Comprehend that you are a royal eye of creation, of the living, breathing Asia fire, the spirit. And as my soul moved upward, I realized that I could no longer hear the voice of the world, as all had become as silence. Then in the light above, I saw the sixth branch. It was getting clearer now. The one that bore the fruit of power and healing. My mother star told me that when you truly have eaten of the fruit of clarity and the truth about yourself, your true nature, then could you partake of the fruit of power and healing, the power to heal your own soul and thereby make it ready to ascend to the seventh branch, where it will be filled by the fruits of light and perfection. And I saw my soul, now free of all darkness, ascending again to be filled with all the light and perfection that is the Asia fire, the true spirit. And I was filled with the great enlightenment as my soul turned toward the light and flew upward in the flames from whence my mother star showed me the eighth and final branch, upon which burned the fruit of the in the favor for all and the beauty of the Asia fire, the Spirit Father. And I felt my soul and all that I could see dissolve and vanish in the brilliant light, in a likeness that of and from the sun. And in the light I beheld the woman of brilliant white. That's the Virgin. The figure extended its arms, and I felt my soul drawn into its embrace. And in that moment, I was freed from the world. And I realized that the fetter of forgetfulness was temporary. From now on, I will rest through the course of the time of the age in silence, the golden age of light that Yeshua gave us. The word rest means the royal east, the sun, and then where everything came out from. And then, as if from a great distance, I heard the voice of my mother star tell me, Mariam, whom I have called the Virgin. Now you have seen all, the virgin light. Now you have seen the all and have known the truth about yourself, the truth that we are one. Now you have become the completion of completions. And this is how the vision ended. And this is what my mother star has told and showed me. And only from the truth, from the tree's root throughout all time, that is all that I have revealed to you. And it is truth. And when Yeshua's mother had told all of that Yeshua had said and done, she felt silent, since it was in that silence that Yeshua had spoken with her and revealed these truths. And so there's a sample of the most primitive copy of the Gospel of John, ladies and gentlemen. And what came next? Because they were all here's what the bottom line was here. They were all confused because he appeared to Mary. He appears to his mother, the woman, and not to them. And they're like, okay, Peter's thinking, well, I thought, I was going to be the leader. How come he's appearing to you? What did he tell
Okay.
you that he
Yeah.
hasn't told us? And
Wow.
so the next chapter would be then when these men went fishing. They were all confused.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
were all trying to figure out what is going on with this story, And so they went fishing, and then he appears to them on the shore. You're fishing. Hello, over there. You're fishing. Come on over here. Come back to the shore. And then he says, bring what you've caught. He told them, put your net over on one side, and you'll bring up. And they brought up 153 fish. And there's a story behind that. There's actually a meaning behind 153. But then when he sits down the fire, they've already got fish going on, and they're talking and eating. And then he says to Kefe, do you love me? He says, then feed my sheep. And so the point was that there really is nobody special in the story, where they're trying to now make Magdala,
Yeah.
the whore, the specially loved, the secretly loved, all of that, when it was really about Mary, who was appeared to first, and then they wouldn't accept it. They thought she was delusional. But she didn't forget, because she was the one who stayed and kept vigil at the garden. At the point the tomb was open. And so she stayed there. They gave us the picture. It was of Mary of Magdala, but it was his mother, because he appears to her first, and is clearly spelled out in the Aquarian Gospel, which is misnomered as which is the original Gospel, not the Aquarian. So they've adulterated all of our scriptures. We can see that, and so we have to then really compare all of. Why did they take away the other writings? Where are they? The entire library that they stole. So I have a library now of lost writings, and they're all compared, and then you can when you compare them all, you can piece the story together. So that's basically it. I don't have much more I can comment on until I read it a few more times, but that's it. Ninja, back to you.
Yeah, I just want to add to what you were saying just then. So lost writings, they were never really lost. They've just been hidden. They're all there. They've just been hidden. They need to be
Yeah.
deciphered. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you compare them, they begin to shed light on each other. You see,
Yeah.
because we have to realize that all of our scriptures have been filtered through the Vatican, but these other ones, like the KLD and the one I'm just sharing with you, were not filtered through the Vatican per se, but were in other held in other locations. But they used that one that was the most ancient of the Gospel of John now because it's superior in so much of its content. You just have to read it for yourself,
Yeah, just
and
that
just
little bit.
realize
Yeah, just that little bit that you
realize
read just then.
right,
Yeah.
but to realize that there's so much truth in there, and so they want to use that as the missing gospel, the one
Yeah.
that really puts Mary Magdalene on the pedestal. Well,
Yeah.
there is no pedestal for anybody. Nobody gets a pedestal. Everybody, he's no respecter of persons. He does not regard your status in life. He doesn't care who you are, where you are, what you are. We are all equal in the royal house, and therefore so they had to create a propagation of this woman who represents their Luciferian occult tradition while at the same time destroying our patriarchy
Yeah.
within Yeshua. You see,
Yeah.
so it serves several purposes, but their whole motivation is to destroy the truth of our spiritual truth because they're occultists and they hate the light.
Yeah.
Bottom
They
line.
have to worship things of this world. Yeah. So they put her up on a pedestal so they could worship her.
All
Is the
right,
best
so
way I can
yeah.
put it.
So
Yeah.
Ninja, I know we don't have a lot of listeners. At least it's only given us a small rating, which is how they played the game on us, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We're here for
Notifications probably didn't go
we're
out either.
here for the few friends that we have,
Yeah.
and I want to get this readout. So I've got the Kolbrin in front of me, and I'm going to just read one chapter, and it's going to blow everybody's mind.
I've got it.
Okay,
Hang
it's
on.
okay. Well, I want to go to a break first, and I'm just
Okay.
saying
Good.
that that it's about our creation and it's about our spiritual truth and describing who Yahshua is and Yahweh, the Great Spirit. It is so perfect, and you'll want to get a copy of the Kolbrin. I'm telling you, and we hope that we can just publish this particular work, in the future for all of our friends. So just because most people can't afford the $100 for the Kolbrin, they can't afford it, and that's what's really tragic about
Yeah.
this. So I'm going to give them a slice of it here on the broadcast. And so Ninja, let's do another 7-minute break, and when we get back, we'll be we'll close out with this final read, and then that'll be a wrap. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Just scrolling and looking for the music again. Okay, guys, thank you for staying with us and um, being patient through all the glitches. Um, and we'll be right back after this short music break, or 7-minute music break. Okay, welcome back. You're listening to the Forbidden History series. Thank you for staying with us. We're about to hear something beautiful and powerful, and a reading like you've never heard before. Welcome back, Desert. I'll just look for a different graphic.
Let's go back to the mountain. The
Okay,
mountain is a good one. Okay.
okay, I'll just find it.
Okay. All right. And am I on the air?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're reading out of the KOLBRIN is out of the book of Morals and Precepts, but of course we don't want morals. We want ethics. The Freemasons want more, and they want it all, and that includes the Vatican, and so they want more, and all. But but it is called the Book of Morals and Precepts, and precepts are the perceptions. Are perceptions. You see, that's in the word. A precept is what you perceive,
Wow.
and so chapter 2 is about the true nature of the true God, and that's of course it's using a pagan term, but we'll correct it, and we'll use the correct terms. I'm going to use original thought in here as best as possible to spell it out correctly. Okay, because we don't want to use false terms and false narratives and pagan terms. So, okay, but this is a fantastic read. Next to the Book of Wisdom, this would be the other book to get. Okay, so here we go. So there is but one God. It says one God, but it is the one Yahweh. The Yahweh in the eye of the return. That's the spirit that breathed into the star and it ignited. The the designer, actually the correct term is the architect. The uh, who brought forth the creator and the ruler of the earth, because the creator is the female. You see, that's the woman now. And so that's the Zulafhaim, that's the Elohim in the corrupted form, Zulafhaim in the original thought. Okay, and the sunrise of the royal domain of light and darkness, everlasting, all powerful, and beyond the comprehension of Ashan, beyond the comprehension of men, the great dweller in the everlasting pregnant silence, unseeable, unknowable, and yet knowable. By a mandate, he created Ashan, and in his indulgence, permitted the Ulafhaim to be fashioned. Those are the stars, but you can be a star, you can be Elohim or Zulafhaim yourself. As Abraham was told, we could be as the stars of the cosmos. He is the source of all that is, the great father of fathers, the mother of mothers, one, the one, the one who preceded the Son, who came before the Son. Literally says that here. Okay, so the Son is the center point, right? It's the dot. It's the Yud. It's the Yuta. Judah is the dot. The Sun, the symbol of an age, symbol of a day. The Son is not Yahweh. Okay, there's the plain declaration. Okay, that's what we've been talking about all along. The Son is the logo, it is
Wow.
the symbol.
Yeah.
And here it says the Son, just to clarify, because some people talk about sun worship,
Yep.
right? The Son is not Yahweh. Through his creation, for its brightness bestows. It, actually, it says it correctly. What it should be saying is his creation came through the sun, for its brightness bestows light and life upon all the earth. It gives warmth to the aged and quickens the royal eyes of creation, the child in its mother's womb. It nourishes the seed and calls forth the green growth. It is the instrument of the Yahweh in the eye of the return. The eye of the return is the sun. The word high is used, and that is a code for the eye of the return. High, High. His furnace, fire of life, The sun is removed from man at nighttime, but the true Yahweh is always with him, the spirit, the Ash of fire. Ashan never walks alone. He is never unescorted. They're the same word, Jed. Sun and sun are the same word. It's reflective of a star. Okay, that's how they've confused our words. And hell is helio, it's fire, but it's reflective of the grave. Okay, the grave. We're in the grave. We're in our body is a grave. Okay, that's the first death. The second death is when you go into the dirt. Okay, for the body, the serpent. Okay, not the spirit, because the spirit leaves the grave of the body and goes somewhere else, and hopefully to the best place ever. To this, the Yahweh alone gave a rising in the creation praise, self-created, maker of the sun, earth, and moon, and all the stars, founder of the royal domains of light and darkness, the waters, the viators, and the mountains, the moon 10, to the one that is above all, the spring form, which flows all wisdom, from which flows all wisdom. The spring, in other words, it's the river of life. It flows from the sun and parted into the four directions. That's what the swastika symbolized. You know, they got people looking for the four rivers on earth when it was flowing out from the light into the four directions. The light goes in the four directions and nobody gets it. To him alone belongs adoration, thanksgiving, honor, and praise, the rising up of creation, who spread wide the great canopy of the stars of the cosmos and pinned back the curtains of night with these stars, whose finger creating pictures in the sky, his hallmark, whose finger draws the courses of night lights in unalterable arrangement. He holds the great waters, the viators, within his appointed limits, and the storm water he keeps in restraint. He covers the face of the earth with a green mantle of vegetation. He inundates the land with the waters of life. His arm sweeps across the skies and men are bewildered. Earth is shaken and nations collapse and fall. The wicked tremble before his manifestations and are consumed in the center of his fire. The wrongdoer is confounded and lies stricken before he darts the lightning. His thunders rend the roof of the sky, and earth groans out of its travail. It is he, the Yahweh in the eye of the return, the great breath, who defeats armies with pestilence or gives one Ashan dominion over thousands. At his mandate, the seas will rise against the earth, or mountains belch forth fires of destruction. And Ashan lives his allotted span in the dispensation of the Yahweh in the eye of the return of ancient time, the ancient of days, whose will encompasses the daily task and round. All things have their beginning and end with Yahweh. His power cannot be suppressed. His knowledge is the Veshdom, the wisdom of eternity in a day without end. His strength reaches out into infinity. His dwelling place is set in the universal center, and he encompasses all the universes that are great and small. His breath sustains life in multitudinous forms, and his thought holds all things to their proper shape. He prescribes the courses of the stars, the cycles. He issues his mandates to the winds, and they sing their responses. The wide Zay, the sea, murmur his praise. He moves the silence of the void of empty space where the eternal heart lies sleeping. Order and beauty are shaped by his hands. His voice speaks from the sandy silences. He whispers in the cool breezes. He roars in the whirlwind. He murmurs in the running waters. He sighs in the treetops, and Ashan hear his voice without comprehension. My dreams, man dreams and says, this is reality. He sees the shadow, but is blinded before the light. He reasons and is deceived. The design of the true Yahweh and his true nature cannot be comprehended in the light of reason alone, for reason is not with this Yahweh who knows all things without reason. There's an old axiom that says reason is the ray of divine light. So let there be light. There is none other like unto the one Yahweh in all of his illumination, whose strength can challenge him. Yet they're trying to put him out, aren't they, ladies and gentlemen? They're trying to destroy the heritage and the creations of Yahweh, and they're doing an interesting job, but they won't win. They've destroyed their own world. Let me continue. Whose will can contend with his will? Whose might can equal his? Where is another with his wisdom? Who in excellence can compare with him? By the power of his thoughts, many royal domains are brought forth beyond earth. He speaks the unutterable Eshavor, the word, and they are created. He rules his creations with infinite wisdom and directs their destinies with unchallengeable decrees. His will controls the forces within Ashan, and the thing they seek unknowingly is him, what they certainly need. As the Bodhi, the serpent eye, when hungry is filled with the urge to eat, and when thirsty with the urge to drink, so is the Asha fire in Ashan, filled with the urge to seek out the Yahweh, the One. His ordinances govern earth and the stars above. All things therein have their appointed place and purpose, and in their nature conform to his law, the natural law, the laws of nature, the pure shelter. His ways are inscrutable, transcending the comprehension of Ashan, man. His thoughts are a mystery which men may not fathom. They are veiled and withdrawn beyond the comprehension of mere mortals, mortal meaning death. His design is unrevealed to the multitude who are dead. Few are the Ashan who can comprehend why he planted the road to the place of illumination with the sharp stones of suffering and pain, or why life is a struggle through the thorny forest of adversity. But the ways of Ashan are known to Yahweh, for the architect and creator ever knows the created, though it does not follow that the created know their creator, nor the great architect. Therefore, true, perfect, and complete, Ashan, given an opportunity beyond all measure, remember that your heart lies naked before his gaze, and your innermost thoughts come under his scrutiny. No deed ever goes unrecorded. None can perceive his residence, for he dwells in the profound silence of the outer sphere and the inner sphere. Look for him in the order of nature and see his plan in its direction. Look for him and the stars in their courses and see the grandeur of his scheme. Look for the unmanifested Asia fire in the manifested objects that you see, for they speak about him. His illumination is proclaimed in the sky, in the sun, in the moon, in the stars. The sun reflects his splendor. The moon witnesses his rest. His fruitlessness is spread over the face of the land, and the waters are filled with his bounty. The earth bends to his will, or is broken to his command. A Shan may walk in the appointed direction, or he will be driven. Walk in the light of the pure law, the pure shelter, and not along the paths of the transgressor. For the natural laws of the Yahweh in the eye of the return are unchallengeable. You cannot be transgressed with impunity. The wrongful actions and the wicked thoughts of Ashan are indelibly inscribed upon the everlasting tablets of his immortal shul, his soul. He is the architect and creator in whose Asha fire, the spirit image and likeness, you were fashioned. His laws ordained your present estate and circumstances upon the earth. The power of your intellect is his promise of Elohimic, the Zillohamic state, and the marvels of your serpent eye, your Buddha, are the works of his hand. Your body is a miracle in itself, but it's still a serpent. His shul communes with your soul, and the consciousness he shares with you is the source of your being, your life, or is it your death? In his sight, all Ashan are equal, and he focuses light on them as Ashan and not ascending to their proper estate. The rich and the poor, the highborn and the lowly, the wise and the simple, all receive a fitting reward according to their labors. From each is expected results according to his abilities. From some, much, and some others, just little. Only that which serves the purpose of the great Zulufhaim, who is Yahweh, is accounted worthy by him. He has established the natural laws and the pure shelter whereby the sun shines down on the good, on the perfect and on the corrupt alike. He sends rain equally for the provident and the improvident. The arrows of misfortune strike the worthy and the unworthy of their eye with indifference. Only the most wise may comprehend why this is the established nature of things. For the generality of Ashan is a condition to be accepted with perfect favor for all. And for them it is sufficient to know that the seeming indifference of the universe serves its purpose. The true Yahweh neither rewards nor punishes, for he has established the natural law whereby each Ashan decrees his own fate. The future destiny and circumstances of the shul are shaped in the earthly serpent eye, the Buddha. When in the hour of its release, the shul, the soul, takes flight. Freed from its earthly container of flesh, it assumes the form molded by its own previous desires. In that awesome Dayel, the day of reckoning, the wicked will be revealed in a hideous shapelessness, but the upright and perfect will step forward in the splendor, being clothed in light. Therefore give due respect to the natural law and pure shelter of Yahweh. Walk in his ways and bow down to his great decrees. Therefore give due respect to these. You are placed on earth that his purpose may be fulfilled. Therefore, fight not against his will, nor rebel against his natural laws, lest you bring about your own destruction. Yahweh will not destroy the transgressor of his natural laws, for he will destroy himself. Each Ashan ultimately decrees his own fate and receives his own reward or punishment according to the natural law. Rise up and be healed by the light before the great architect and the creator, the male and the female, the mother and the father, the giver of breath, the Yahweh of destinies, the great Yahweh of thunder and fire, the I who roars over the earth, the silent one who walks by your side, unseen, unrevealed, Father, Yahweh, Mother, Zolofhaim, the Yahweh of comfort and conflict, the mighty, in the eye of the return of light, fighter with the stone, the star one, the foundation, the illuminated being, clothed in light, the healer and sunrise of life and light, the Yahweh of the great Zulafhaim, Prince of non-ending nature, everlastingness, ruler of the nether world, Royal Malik of the Western Royal Domain, light of eternity, light of life. There are his names according to his royal title, but this also you may know about the true Yahweh. He is the fountain of all things. His power is non-bounded. His mind knows no limitations. He has the wisdom of eternity, and the mantle of his greatness envelops all of mankind. Ashan. He sits enthroned in the universal center, and the divine rays which flow from his presence hold all forms in stability. He moves his finger in the night skies, and the stars dance along their pathways. He walks upon the wings of the wind and encompasses all the royal domains of the cosmos, the sun, earth, and moon. Order and beauty follow his train, and all things obey the directions of his hand. The face of beauty looks out from his walk and work, and the voice of wisdom, sparks and speaks from the center of his creation, the great logo, the sun. Through it, though it is scarcely heard through the barriers of mortal limitations, illumination and grandeur form his mantle. He is clothed in light. Focusing light and mercy drape his bode, the Ouroboros, the serpent eye, the great serpent in the sky. Love and benevolence cover his head, and the virtues are his footstool. Discuss not his forms, for it is beyond your comprehension. Push not among the crown of his homaging state. Mouth not his ashavors of his writings unthinkingly. Mumble not his praises. Stand not before his shrine in a hypocritical humility. Carefully supervise his maintenance and maintain due decorum in his place. Remember him always in all things. He is with you always in the center of the concourse and in the silence of your bedchamber. His breath gives to life to countless forms, and his will holds all things to their appointed shape. Obey his mandates. Take heed, pay attention to the ordinances that he has made, for they conform to your needs. All things are bent to the benefit of a Shan in all that encompasses your life accord with his direction, that the shul within you may enjoy continued gracious growth from the stage to the next stage of its unfolding like a flower. You must unfold, ladies and gentlemen, so that when the cumbersome sheath of mortal flesh is cast off, it may receive a just and fitting compensation under the great law in accordance with its thoughts and action on earth. Where is this strange Yahweh of ours? And is it well you ask? It is well that you ask. For if you would be happy on earth, you must know his ways, his purpose, his intent, his action. He is not a revealed Yahweh. He has hidden himself, for he knows well the dispositions of a Shan, the dispositions of men. Were he here now among the people, and he is, and revealed to their gaze, the weakening would fawn upon him. The hypocrite would join his following, and the wrongdoer would walk in his train, proclaiming his innocence with a loud voice. How then, if he were here, could the weakened be tested, the hypocrite discovered, and the wrongdoer unveiled? Our Yahweh is hidden, that a Shan may be tested and established for what they really are. Where he revealed to the eyes of the comprehending of a Shan, earth and life would have no purpose. He hides to discover the hearts of men. Is not the desired, let me try this again. Is it not declared in the plans of Yahweh that uncertainty is an essential earthly condition? We all come into this world ignorant. Yet this you may know, that if you be worthy, and very few are, there is a method whereby you may look behind the veil, the eval, and then no longer will you walk in uncertainty, because you can know that you know that you know. However, for a Shan in general, the undiscovered Yahweh is not apparent. He has no man-made image in his likeness, and he stands in obscurity behind the great alcove beyond the temple within the place of fire. Yet he makes himself known in subtle ways, for he cannot remain unmanifested to the true spiritual any more than a river can remain hidden, for it dissolves away the ground in which it is concealed. So will the great Yahweh spring forth in the center of material things, and dissolving away again their solidity, shine forth to the sincere seeker alone, shining forth to the sincere seeker alone. He is not a new Yahweh, but the oldest Yahweh of all creation, the Father of all ages and stars and time, the ancient one of yore, the one who said, "Let there be." He requires no temple to establish his illumination, or sacrifice to give him strength. A cheerful nature is more acceptable to this Yahweh than offerings of gold and silver by the bad temper Ashan, or the sacrificial ox of the churlish Ashan. He prefers the Ashan who gives a willing hand to his neighbor, to the one who brings him this treasure. A word of encouragement to the Ashan in distress is of more value to our Yahweh than loud praises in his temple. He does not take all and remain mute. He seeks not gifts with no purpose, or wasteful sacrifices. What can Ashan give that will add to his illumination? What thing fashioned by Ashan could benefit the one Yahweh? who by taking thought could create a universe. Work for our Yahweh, and he will work for you. He remembers well the Ashan who labors on his own behalf. He who labors to the benefit of others works for the great Yahweh. He who improves the earth works for him. The purpose of Ashan's sojourn on earth is the illumination of Ashan, not the illumination of Yahweh, who is the all of illumination, the illuminated one. Thus it is written in the plans of Yahweh. And just to clarify for new listeners, Yahweh, of course, is misnomered by many as Yahweh. The true temples of the great Yahweh are not structures of stone and brick. They are places of quietude in your heart and home, your domain, where you listen to the awakening of your soul, your shul, your knowledge, as it responds to the conscious contact with Him. His worship is your labor among the people. His praise is the song in your heart. His adoration is your joy and enlightenment of living. Keeping the peace of the mysterious Yahweh and maintain the order of his pure shelter in the natural law among Ashan and women, the Ashaphe. For they are his flock and herds, and he calls forth Ashaph hearers, shepherds, from among them. He made earth a workplace for Ashan and not a pleasure garden or a toy land. I have to add that. Therefore, be you a song leader at this task. He is the mighty, the royal eye that sees all in the return. Yahweh, the nameless one, whom your fathers held in awe. He it was who dissipated the darkness over the viaters, the water, who separated the chaos and brought forth perfection, who lifted the cloud, who made the breezes of life to fulfill the nostrils, the gnosis of Ashan. Ashan came forth from his members, and they appeared in his likeness. For their sustenance he provided fruits and vegetables, animals, fowls of the air, and fish of the sea. He has brought low his enemies. Yes, he has even destroyed his own offspring. He rolled the grain, and it is true throughout all time. It became the food of Ashan. He dismembered the destroyer in ancient times. He made daylight for the enlightenment of Ashan and darkness for his tranquility. Ashan cried to him in their distress, and he suffers with them. He sends a captain to strengthen the resistance of the feeble and a champion for the weak. He has endowed Ashan with the power of speech and bedecked their tongue with fine ashavors, that greatness may sound around the earth. He has enlightened the minds of Ashan with the great thoughts to repulse the might of upward happenings, of untoward happenings. Let me try that one again. He has enlightened the mind of Ashan with the great thoughts to repulse the might of these untoward happenings, like we see every day now, ladies and gentlemen, so clearly. The destruction of our world. He has given him the courage to overcome the terrors that lurk by night and to dispel those that strike by day. He is the Yahweh of the focusing light, which is justice, as well as benevolence. For he metes out chastisement, not always obviously as among Ashan, but sometimes as an Ashan chastens a son or his brother. There can be none greater than the true Yahweh, for through him, self, nameless, he knows every name. He knows all of you. Be not reticent to pay homage for this is the prerogative of the highborn and the wise. The Malik, the king, if you will, which is a code word for Cain, but we'll use it here, correctly Malik, and nobles attend the temples diligently, but the stupid Ashan and grave robbers have no deity. Pay homage. Paying homage bestows no benefit on Yahweh, for he is all self-sufficient. He needs not anything. Its purpose is the service of Ashan, not the service of Yahweh. It fulfills the need of Ashan, not the need of Yahweh. Nothing that Ashan can do will add to Yahweh's illumination. Nothing that Ashan can give will add to that which he already has. These are the seed plantings, the teachings of the wise ones, to whom all due honor and respect. Give ear and listen with a receptive mind. Record them unto your generations that come, that they pass not away into the dust with your habitations, into oblivion. Therefore, let it now be written, and as it is written, so let it be made known, and so let it be done. And there you have a read from the book of Ethics and Perceptions, ladies and gentlemen, out of the KOLBRIN. And you just got the forbidden history, what they didn't want you to know, Ninja?
That we tell right here. Sorry, I ruined that one. That we tell right here, does it? And
No,
thank
you
you.
didn't
That
ruin it.
was
You are on cue,
okay. Okay.
right?
Thank you. That
All
was
right.
amazing.
And want to
Thank you.
welcome David Boren to the broadcast. We have a new listener, it looks like,
Yep.
and
G'day
thank you.
and subbed. Yep.
All right. Okay.
Yep.
So, any follow up on that, Ninja? Be glad to stay with you. Or anybody out there, if you have a comment or question, just put desert in all capital letters and then use upper and lower for your comment or question, okay? Because I'm winding down here, losing my voice, but I'm happy to stay with you for a few more, okay? If you have any follow up.
I'm happy for
Um,
you to stay for a bit longer too.
was that a mouthful? Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I'm not really capable of doing any follow up at the moment. I'm gonna re-listen tomorrow.
All right. That's
Yeah.
right. You've been up all night and you're
Yeah.
here serving, and may Yahweh punish you well for all of your great
Thank you.
service. Okay.
Thank you. But yeah, if anyone else wants to follow up and ask Desert some questions, feel free. Because
Okay.
I don't want to end this yet. As tired as I am right now, I don't want to end this yet. That was a
While
beautiful
Australia is
read.
burning down.
So
Mhm.
sorry.
While Australia is burning down
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
same time. Yeah. And remember,
There's been a downgrade with the fires. They're now
great,
downgraded to watch and act. So
good
their
deal.
scheduled weather didn't really like it was all a big build up on the
Uh,
mainstream. So yeah,
okay. Okay.
yeah. So that's good. That's good. Yeah, but
Yeah.
we just have to play it by ear. We'll see what tomorrow brings. I'll probably sleep through it while the house burns down. But yeah, anyway. um,
Well,
yeah,
don't forget
just
we're wanting to get support for Ninja. We're hoping to bring her here to America because she's losing her home. She's going to be homeless, and also she's losing her nation because we know that they're burning it down now. The UVC and UVB index is off the charts, and all of life is dying. And so they're going underground. They got their underground bases, and everybody else be rounded up into the gulags, into the to the smart cities, while they all are poisoned with the bad neo technology of what they call it, nanotechnology of the
yeah.
geoengineering. Our world's going down, ladies and gentlemen, but we want Ninja to keep the broadcast going, and we want her to relocate over here. So if you can help a friend out, help a neighbor out, and know that there's an axiom out of the scriptures that says, when you loan to Yahweh's work, He will repay. And Ninja has been doing a great work, and so thank you for your considerations out there. Um, and we bring on the lost writings. We share things that in a way that nobody else does, and I'm the most underrated guest or presenter on broadcasting, I think, and because we've answered. You go back and listen to our broadcasts. Okay, we're on 4 different channels, I think, right now, where you can hear our broadcasts: the Forbidden History series, NinjaCat, Forbidden History Archive, and also uh, one other, I think, out there. But where we
Desert,
what?
the cosmic essence.
Thank you. I knew there was another one. Thank you. I knew there was another one. The Cosmic Essence, where we're giving the short version without the long diatribe and just on different topics. So go check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and
And there's another one. Um, I can't
yeah, the
rem.
Lost Writings, and
Yeah,
but we haven't really produced over there, so
yeah,
that one's yeah, pretty
yeah.
empty right now.
I've been over there. I don't know if I've left any comments, but I've been over there and checked it out.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure I got some hate mail over there.
I'll check it out for you. Although
Okay.
I'm probably not a moderator over there because it was
Yeah.
as a little channel, so I don't know. Yeah,
No good deed goes unpunished, ladies and gentlemen. And when you uh, speak truth, and there's another axiom that says you will know the truth, and the truth will make you a fugitive within your own land. Like Yeshua said, no star navigator is honored in his own home, and that was the case with me and within my own natural family. They don't want to know. They think it's not normal to want to know the truth about life and about all things, and they think it's normal to be a brain dead couch potato head, eating potato chips, drinking potato beer, and watching potato heads on television. So that's okay. Everybody's got their job in life, and I'm just happy I've got mine. Because I wouldn't even for all the struggle and pain I've gone through to get here. I wouldn't trade it for anything, knowing what I know now. It was tough. It was tough to learn all these lessons of life, and and to have to dig and read dictionaries and different alphabets, and do what I've had to do. So we're doing it, Ninja. We're doing it, and that's right, David. That's right. So much more to life than TV, beer, sports, and so on.
yeah.
And sports is in the word sports can be found in Webster's dictionary from 1828, and sports is a code word for diversion. That's what sports is, diversion. So, okay, so I guess that's a wrap, and I hope everybody out there stay safe, and tell your friends about the broadcast, about our channel where we've been excommunicated from algorithms and proper numbers. They remove our numbers from the listenership, all of those things. And thank you, Jackie, for you're being there as well. And just know, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know the future, then you simply need to look towards the forbidden history, because it's all right here, coming your way, somewhere out there. It's what they didn't want you to know, that Ninja.
We tell right here. Sorry, I was on mute.
All right, Ninja. Well, thank you, and get some rest and be safe out there, and pay attention. Okay, you're in a very dangerous area right now,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
thank you for supporting Ninja. Anybody out there that can help her out as well to get her here to the States. So I'm gonna go, and we'll talk real soon. Peace and love, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Desert. That was amazing. As always, as always. Um, yeah, I loved it. I loved it. Um, it's so good that we can still do this. This is like the fourth or fifth um, final program. Yeah, so that's really cool. Anyway, I'm starting to lose my voice, and I really need to get some rest so that I can be awake and aware. Um, yeah. Uh, it's getting close. The fires are getting close. But in saying that, the last few days, all of this struggle has helped me connect more and gain strength through Yeshua. So yeah, so things are going to be okay. I'll get out of here. Okay, thank you for joining. We didn't have many tonight. The numbers went up near the end, I noticed. But yeah, thank you for joining, guys. Creating light for all of you, wherever you are. Be safe. And like Desert said, Desert's advice: be awake and aware of your surroundings, because I know Australia is not the only place that's going through it at the moment. It's worldwide, in various ways. So, before my voice goes completely, um, lava love you guys, and we'll see you next week. Not sure what day, yeah, but we'll let you know. We'll still be around. Um, I'm just looking for some music. Okay, love you guys. See yous.